Okay, the wing that I've been working on, yesterday I degreased it. I washed it with degreaser, rinsed it, had it in the paint tent here overnight, and it's dried out beautifully, and I've since painted it with Ecobond, diluted Ecobond, which was a 3-to-1 ratio, 3 parts of Ecobond, 1 part of water, and I applied it with a foam brush like this little puppy here. You know, it's just sponge rubber. I didn't film it, you know, stupidly, but basically you apply it in this direction and in this direction. What you're trying to do is get all of the weave of the fabric coated with Ecobond. The objective with the Ecobond is to prevent moisture from coming in and contacting the next coat, the grey stuff that I put on, which what is it, Eco Build or something? It's basically the high build stuff. Eco Fill, there you go, Eco Fill. The moisture can't get to the Eco Fill through the top because it's got a coat of primer and a coat of finishing colour on top, so the moisture can't go in here. But moisture, if it does get on the inside, can get through the fabric and into the Eco Fill. The Eco Fill's not really well, actually it actually attracts moisture, yeah. So putting this coat of green stuff on prevents the moisture from getting at it from the inside, and moisture can't get to it from the outside. So the Eco Fill sandwiched in between. But this is done now. This will be ready tomorrow, unless it's raining, and it looks pretty black outside at the moment. This will be ready tomorrow to put the Eco Fill. Yeah, fabric's pretty sort of transparent or translucent, really. But anyway, yeah, it'll be ready for the grey stuff tomorrow, if the weather's suitable. You know, the tent is reasonable, and with the lighting as well, it keeps it warm in here, so it will go off. This is dry now. I only did it before lunch. It's about, I don't know, 2 o'clock in the afternoon now, 3 o'clock maybe. No idea. Yeah, 2:30. Yeah. So that's that bit put to bed. We've got a plan there. We've done it before. We did it on the previous wing. The cowling is still at Malcolm's workshop. We've finished as far as Malcolm's work is concerned. I have to go and collect it and bring it back. But my little white ute is at the doctor's. My little white truck is at the doctor's at the moment. And as a matter of fact, the doctor is sick. So my ute's not being fixed, and it won't fit in the car, the engine cowl. Okay, so all right, let's move on to the next job. As I've mentioned in several other videos, I made a mistake with the reinforcing tapes on some of the flight controls surfaces, and I want to redo them. I also want to put heavier weight fabric on the flight control surfaces. Especially, my thought pattern here is with the radial engine, way more horsepower than the aeroplane was designed for, and big pulses. you're probably going to have to carry, especially on takeoff, if you're going to use that power, which probably isn't a wise thing, but if you're going to use that horsepower, you're going to have to carry a lot more rudder on takeoff. And you start putting in heaps of rudder, you're going to wind up with heaps of pounding on the fabric, and the fabric's going to wind up suffering. So in order to sort of counteract that a little bit, I want to put heavier grade of fabric. I want to put the reinforcing tapes on where they should be and not where I put them. And I will also interspace these big-headed aluminium rivets for the fabric, to hold the fabric down. I'll interspace them with another rivet, so I'll have double the amount of rivets. And it's particularly on the rudder, but all of the back end pieces, all of the empennage components. Okay, now moving along to the reason I brought you over here is to see just how much fun it is to get this fabric off. The fabric, that's probably a bit better. I'm going to try and take the fabric apart in the reverse order of what I put it together. Now obviously this piece of tape along the leading edge was the last piece of tape I added, so it's the first one to come off. And I tell you what, it's kind of up there with the squeezing the toothpaste back into the tube in degree of difficulty. It does not want to come off at all. I'm using the skin the rabbit technique here, and it's not easy. Yeah. And of course, I really don't want to damage anything, but that is coming off. Might be a bit tricky to reuse, but you can get it off, but it's not happy. And of course, going around fixtures like this, it's even less happy. It could go in the bin. Oh dear. So, if you had any sort of worries about how the fabric and the EcoBond interact with one another, take that away. No. This fabric does not want to come off here. Does not want to come off. So I can certainly vouch for the EcoBond. It's as strong as can be. Now that releases this tape, so I could probably, this will be interesting. Oh, here, it starts there. Okay. I'll get my Swiss Army fabric lifting tool and go under about there. I could just rip into it, but I'm not going to. I want to actually see for myself how strong the fabric is. And this is the light grade fabric. I'm upgrading it to the medium weight fabric. I think this is 1.4 ounces per square yard, I think. 1.4. The one I'm going to put on is 2.7 ounces per square yard. So it's quite considerably heavier. It's a bit more difficult to work, but it turns out just as good. The end result is just as good. So let's. Oh, we're on a roll here. This is good. I could probably do the same with this one, with any luck. Yep. Yeah. Oh.
You should be able to do the same thing here with any luck. That came off fairly easily. A bit on the end, didn't it? You're on the leading edge, that didn't come off easily. Come on. There we go. This one. And this diagonal. And finally the one that runs around the trailing edge. And if I can cause it to break, right there somewhere. Wow. Yeah, alright. It's not looking coming off. Yeah. Yep, that's it. Right there. Dear me. Good. It sticks to the fabric really, really well. These tapes stick to the actual fabric extremely well. Oh dear. Yeah. There.
Okay, just a quick recap. This is the same sort of rivet that's that I've used here on to hold this on. The rivet itself is aluminium, and the mandrel is aluminium, or the stem is aluminium. So with your air drill, you can easily drill the rivet. Yeah. Other sorts of rivets, you've got to get that mandrel out first, because the mandrel is just as hard as the drill bit, and the drill bit can't drill the mandrel. But here, the mandrel's made of aluminium, no problem whatsoever, go for your life. Yeah, so we just knock those out. The objective is to only drill part way through. Let's try and do it properly this time. Like about a bit more. No, maybe that's enough. We reach in with a pin punch of the correct size, run it around, break the head off that's not deep enough, go a bit further. too far. Go in, break the head off, twist around like that, it'll snap the head off the rivet. The rest of the rivet will fall inside and we'll get it back later. Yeah, that's all you've got to do. And we're not trying to make a mess. Piece of cake. Let's do this. We don't want to drill all the way through and out the other side. That's probably a bad thing. But yeah, twice as many rivets next time. That should be most of them. Let's see how we go. Break the head off. Oop, there she goes. Another one. There she goes. Oopsie, not deep enough. Another one. Another one. Yeah. But pop rivets, don't try and drill them with the mandrel still in there. What you do then is you get the stem off one of your rivets that you've already broken off by putting them in, wherever it's gone, and a hammer, tap, 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 knock the mandrel out the other side, then you can drill the rivet. Just one extra step. Don't try and drill the rivet with the mandrel in, because what happens then is the rivet starts to spin, the hole gets twice its size, and then you really got some problems on your hands. Yeah, so that's not too bad. That's all of them except that one. That's it. Do the same thing to the ones on this side. You can hear those rivet tails, let's call them, flapping around on the inside. That's okay. The fabric's got to come off and that's better when it stops. It is noisy. A lot of people ask, why use the air drill? You know, why not use a battery drill? I've got a battery drill, and if we set it on high speed, in second gear here, it'll whiz nowhere near as fast as that one. And with aeroplane building, this is a big drill. Where are we? There. This is a fairly big drill. Otherwise you'd use this one, which is only, these are the two most popular. In the battery drill, they don't spin very fast. Yeah? Plus the battery drill is a big thing. Yeah, and not only is it a big thing that won't go into some spaces, but it's heavy and you've got to pick it up 97,000 times a day. Pick it up like one of those big deep sea crabs with one great big claw and one little claw, you know, I mean. But anyway, so no. Oh, I know, why don't we use an electric drill? Well, electric drill's got a lot of the similar traits of the battery drill. The biggest one, let's have a look at that too. When I take my finger off the trigger of the air drill, it stops instantly. The electric drill won't. The electric drill keeps going. So you not only is it heavier and big to get into confined spaces, but you've also got to wait for it to stop spinning before you do whatever the next task is that you want to do. This is the way to go. Done. Oh, now we've got lots of lots of things running around loose in there. Now we can try and get this fabric off, and it should just come off, hopefully. Maybe we just cut it off. I had, yeah, I did. I had one of these little safety razor blades. So we can just cut it. There we go. And probably similar down there. Oh, it doesn't want to come off there either. Dear me. I can take that off. Ooh, don't do that.
The eco bond, the green stuff, on it, it would still cut with a razor blade, but the edges would fray like crazy. Look at that. There's no fraying whatsoever on that edge. Yeah, it's the eco bond seals the weave and won't let it fray. So you can use that to your advantage as well. Yeah, if you know that that's what it's going to do, that's its nature. Yeah, you can use it to your advantage. Well, this is pretty good. I don't think I'm going to be able to get that off there, maybe. No, we're just going to cut it. Same as I did the other side. So around here. Taking this eco bond off the structure might not be quite as difficult as I was leading it to believe. Getting the fabric off the structure might be difficult, which it really is.
Well, okay, that sorted it out to some extent. I've still got this bit to come off. I'll do that in a minute. What I was talking about is trying to get this green stuff off the frame. Now, what I used for that is this thing here. Yeah, it's rubber. It's probably more along the lines of an eraser for paper. Now this little piece here I bought from Stewart Systems. Probably cost me $10 plus another $20 to freight it here from the US. I went down to the $2 shop in town, the cheapo shop that sells all sorts of junk. They've got much nicer pieces than this, about double that size, for $3. So, and it works just as well as this one. I'm just trying to look for it, and it's on the bench there somewhere in that pile of rubbish, but I don't know where it is. But it works by balling up the glue. So let's see if I'll get it to where it's sort of flat and I can press on it a bit. But if we do this, I don't know if you can see that green stuff, but it's balling up and it's sticking to the rubber or to the eraser. Look at that. This is the bit I wasn't looking forward to. I've got to go around and do that on the entire frame. But as it turns out, it's really the easy part of the job, just as easy as easier than taking the fabric off. So yeah, it's a good thing. I chose the rudder because it's a nice, simple, straightforward recovering job. Rudder's fairly easy to cover. But I'll go ahead, I'll take all that off. I'll find the middle of these attachment points where the rivets go. These rivets that hold the fabric on. And I'll put an intermediate one. Or on this diagonal, I may even put an intermediate 2, to be honest with you. Maybe probably make it about every 2 inches, something like that. I think that's reasonable. Matter of fact, and yeah, look at that, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So I'll go ahead and finish that off and bring you back when something exciting happens, like, I don't know, I paint it and watch the paint dry or something. I know it must be difficult to watch these videos. It's like, I've described it a few times, it's like mining. You've got to move a hell of a lot of overburden and rubbish to get to one single gem. I try to make the gem worth it, I really do, but I'm sorry if you just fast forward and, you know, and get to the exciting parts. But that's it. I'll leave you to it, and I'll bring you back if something wonderful happens. Well, here we are back again. It's the next day. I've managed to remove all of the EcoBond, the green stuff, off the rudder. This is my rudder that I'm about to recover. What I've also decided to do is drill some intermediate holes between. These are the holes that have the big-headed aluminium rivets that hold the fabric onto the structure, and called a centre finding rule. It has, actually, if I get it up the right way, it has 0 in the middle, and then it's measured in inches, but it doesn't matter what those increments are, because it's got the same amount sticking out this side. So all you've got to do, and what I do, is I'll measure from the other side of the hole, that side of this hole, to that side of this hole. Yeah, how do you do that? You put this on here, and all you've got to do is get the same amount of numbers sticking out that side as what stick out this side. Doesn't matter what the numbers are, so long as they're the same amount. And when you've got the same amount, which that's if you want to put actual numbers to it, that's about 2 1/8, and out that side is about 2 1/8, and there's your centre. Doesn't matter, like I say, it doesn't matter what the numbers are or what distance these things are apart, so long as they're not more than 300 millimetres or a foot. There you go. Centre finding rule. If you're going to build an aeroplane, after you drill and your drill bits and things, this goes on the list as a high priority to purchase. Yeah. If you're only going to do 2 or 3 holes, just use a normal rule. Don't go paying, well, I don't know, that probably costs 15 or 20 bucks, I suppose. Just get one of these for $6 from Bunnings Aerospace. So now we can drill the holes. I'll just introduce something else here. Here's our little windy drill that we're using yesterday, if you're watching the earlier part of the video. The drill bit is number 40. Oh, what? Numbers? Not dealing in imperial or metric? No, we're dealing in numbers. There's a whole series of drills that come in numbers, and they number from, obviously from number 1, which is fairly big, like as in 5 or 6 millimetres or 1/4 of an inch, something like that, down to probably, I think it's about number 60, something like that. I don't use those little ones. The lowest I go is this one, which is number 40. Number 40 is about 3/32 of an inch, a little tiny bit bigger, a few thousandths of an inch bigger. So a number 40 drill hole will take a 332 rivet. And then the next one bigger is number 30. Oh, what? Yeah, the numbers go backwards here. Just in case you're starting to figure it out, the numbers go backwards. So a number 30 is bigger than a number 40. Oh, okay, wonderful. But anyway, drilling holes in aeroplanes, you start with a smaller one. Don't go straight for the size you need, because if it's a little tiny bit off, or you have any sort of an oopsie at all, you can't fix it. You're stuck. You're stuck with what it is. So start with the smaller one and sneak up on it, even if you're doing what I'm doing now, when simply drilling a hole. I'm not trying to line up 2 pieces. I'm not trying to, not trying to attach this piece of structure to that piece of structure, so I've got a line too. No, I'm just simply trying to drill a hole. And even then, I still use the smallest drill available. And in this case, it's number 40. And in fact, it'll be a number 40 cobalt, which is the material that's added to steel to make it a lot harder, and it'll be split point. And split point simply means the way the point is sharpened. Yeah? Split point drills will drill where you put them. You put it on here, it will drill there. It won't and wander off and drill a hole over there, which ordinary drills from Bunnings Aerospace will do that. Split point ones won't. They're very, very good for aircraft work. So you need some number 30 and number 40 cobalt split point drills. We're not going to try and stop quick. And we want to drill right there. So none of this centre punching or anything else like you would with steel. It just has to be, the drill has to be 90 degrees to the surface. Yeah, not over there, not over here, but 90 degrees to the surface. Not 90 degrees to the table, because this is on an angle. This rib is on an angle. So right about there somewhere. I'm not pushing like crazy because I don't want it to go through and out the other side of the rib. which it would if you really leant on it, it would do that. But there you go, there's our hole drill. I've got about another, whatever, 8 or 10 holes I suppose to drill. I'll then drill them out to the next size up, which is this one, which is number 30. Number 30 will fit these holes, yeah, but it'll drill that hole out to full size. Then, wherever it's gone, and I think I've lost it, is my, okay, well, there it is, which my rivet will fit into, number 30 hole. Yeah, it's a 1/8 rivet, 1/8, number 30. That one has to be drilled out to take this rivet. This rivet will hold the fabric onto the structure, along with the glue. The glue, you saw the glue in the early part of the video. The glue holds really well. It's serious glue, which is a good thing. You don't want to be flying along and have the fabric overtake you in flight. That would be, well, it'd be embarrassing, I reckon. Anyway, let's get on with it and I'll do the other holes. Well, here we are in the nice warm paint tent. It's we're having a bit of a cold snap at the moment in my part of the country, and it's just ridiculous to try and work in the hangar. We don't have heated hangars and stuff like that, you know. Here where I live, it rarely goes below 0, and then it's 3 o'clock in the morning when it does that. It might go to -1, -2. I can just see the Canadians going, oh yeah, right, that ain't cold. You know, this is a knife. Well, we're not used to it. We're more used to going the other direction at the 40 degrees plus, which you know, is what we build our houses for and all that sort of thing. But anyway, since it's cold, I can't work in the hangar. I tried that yesterday, I think, and the first thing I noticed is the EcoBond, the green stuff on, this is my rudder, the same rudder that I pulled apart the other day, pulled the fabric off. The EcoBond really didn't want to go off, the green glue. So I've come in here to the tent. I've got some heat lights that I use for painting. I've got them running. Where are we? Around there. Yeah. And they're warming the tent up like you wouldn't believe. It's really nice in here. So the EcoBond is going off now, no problem whatsoever. To put new fabric, heavier fabric, onto my rudder. I've done one skin. What you do, or one lot of fabric on one side. There it is there. You to do this job, we basically, there. We basically glue the fabric along here. This is how I did it. Along here to the leading edge. Yeah, not here, but around, especially around the back, but not all the way around the back so that it touches the skin. Yeah. There's a gap between this fabric and the skin. Otherwise, you'll get a line along there on the skin that you'll see afterwards. Then you bring the fabric around, wrap it around and glue it along here. Again, wrapped all the way over, but not quite touching this fabric. Yeah, there's a gap between where it ends and the fabric. I've also decided to put anti-chafing tape. I didn't do that before, and I'm not I'm still not totally convinced that I really need it, but I've put it, which it's a 1 inch woven fabric. I don't know what it's like, you know, a Band-Aid or something, a medical sort of a device. But it's 1 inch wide. This is the this is the side, the side that's folded up on. There's no need to go around that. You've got a nice rounded edge. So I started there just by the edge, came around. This is only about a little bit over half an inch. It's probably, let's say it's 5/8 of an inch. And I tuck the rest in underneath. It wraps around to about the bottom of that holes. Yeah, but what it does is it gives me protection on this edge. The best possible treatment it can. So anyway, I've installed that fabric. Let's have a look over this side. The little pieces of Eco Bond. The fabric has been shrunk with my trusty $14 iron that I bought from the well, there's a shop that sells, you know, fabrics for making clothes and that sort of thing, making, yeah, all sorts of fabrics. And they also sell these things. And yeah, 14 bucks. It controls the temperature reasonably well. Yeah, and so this has just been shrunk gently. It's not plugged in, so don't panic. I shrunk this fabric gently to about 250 degrees, and that's it for now. Then I'll install the fabric on the other side of the rudder. I'll do that this afternoon, and I'll shrink that to 250 degrees. This is Fahrenheit, by the way. 250 Celsius would probably burst into flames on you. But yeah, for all intents and purposes, that's attached. It's not tight. It's not drum tight, put it that way. It's firm, but it's not drum tight. What it has done is it's shrunk into position, and it's moved around to wherever it wants to move around. So once I put the other side on, then I can melt through these holes. This will melt really easily with I use soldering iron that I've ground to a point. Melt through those, put the rivets in, then shrink the whole lot to 300 degrees, and then shrink it again to 350. Game over. Then I can put the tapes on over the top of those rivets. Done. Ready for paint. Actually ready for the Eco Bond, like this wing is. Yeah. Then we start the painting process, which you know, is the Eco Fill, the grey stuff, the Eco Prime, the white stuff, and then the finishing colour. So anyway, that catches you up to where I'm at and what I'm trying to achieve. After I finish this rudder, I'll go on and do one of the other pieces. Maybe the, I don't know, maybe the elevators. It'll be something in the empennage group anyway. Okay, that's it. You're all caught up with me now. Let me get on with it. Okay, this is Friday afternoon. We'll do our weekly catch-up inside the little paint tent here. This wing has been had the Eco Bond brushed on. That's all I've done to the wing. It's ready to start painting. I don't know if this was in last week's video or not. Probably in the start of this week's video. I've managed to the rudder. This is the rudder here with heavier fabric. The tapes are in the right order this time, and I've added some extra rivets, some extra hold down rivets. What's still outstanding on this job, a piece of 3-inch tape along the leading edge here, and a piece of 2-inch tape that'll go around the outer edge, the trailing edge. And then this will be ready to have the eco bond, and it'll be the same as the wing. It'll be ready for the painting process, which, you know, as you've seen before, it is a process. So I don't have any 3-inch tape, so I'm just going to make whatever that is, metre and a bit, 4 foot, whatever, and I'll just make that out of fabric. That should glue on and work fine. So that's it in here. Let's have a look at the cowl's back from Malcolm's workshop, and I tell you what, I love it. It is absolutely fabulous, absolutely fabulous. It's as strong as can be, really, really solid. This piece will get cut out later. It gets cut. It'll have to be cut to match the rear of the engine. So there's still a lot of work to go on this yet, but it's on. It looks good. It's the way I want it. Now, the engine's not going to live inside the cowl like most aeroplanes. The accessories on the engine, like these ignition units here, the distributors, magnetos, I guess you can call them, the starter motor, the alternator, all those things will live in this area here. There's not much space, but they will fit. They will fit in here between the firewall, which is about there somewhere, and the actual back of the engine. The engine will live here, right about here in front of that cowling. But yeah, so remember we did a fair bit of work on the split line, which I think running along here. So you've got an upper cowl and a lower cowl. Well, we've fiberglassed the split line closed. We won't be using that split line. The split line's going to move up about here somewhere. And the reason for that is we're going to have number 1 cylinder lives here, and number 2 and number 7 live either side of it, and the split line is going to have to go underneath that cylinder but above this one, but it won't be in the middle. It'll be probably up somewhere, and the same on this side. The split line will have to come up here. So I need to establish that, where that split line's going to go, and go through all the heartache of moving it to station. Otherwise, when the engine is on, let's see if we can work this out. Number one cylinder's up there, that's that one. So the split line is going to have to go here, which is just above that horizontal by the looks of things, and over here, which is also just above the horizontal, right where I was trying to point out. So the line will go in here so that I can put some, if the split line is here behind this, how am I going to, I can't do it, I can't gain access to it. So that's the bottom cowl will sort of be more than halfway, and the top cowl will be less than halfway round. So there's a little bit of thinking and stuff to do yet, but oh dear me, I'm happy with it. Really happy. That's if you can do fiberglass work, you're pretty damn special in my books. Yeah, but that's. I know you can't see what I can. This is more or less how the cowl's going to go. I can see the engine in front here, sitting out by itself, you know, on display, over it. And yeah, the rest of it will fare into the fuselage beautifully. So anyway, that's Friday afternoon. Time to go and put this video together. I got my little truck back. That's why I was able to get the cowling and get it installed. These, you're not going to believe this. These intersect fairings. Honestly, all I need to do is install this intersect fairing here, somewhere like that, to the underside of the wing, and then fiberglass along this cut line. Yeah, I'll establish the cut line properly and join it back up, and then it fits reasonably well. Won't be perfect, but it sure wasn't perfect before, I tell you what. Once that's done, the lower wings can come off, and I'm getting closer and closer to that point. And then, of course, they covered and go through the painting process and all the rest of it. But that's it for this week. Yeah, stay tuned.